Autobots, roll out!
Hello and welcome to That's Just Prime, and today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Prime, Cyberverse Optimus Prime, and I love this toy. Originally released in February of 2012, he retailed for approximately $8. Here in truck mode, he measures approximately 3.5 inches long and about 2 inches tall. So, small little guy here, but the Cyberverse line was a line that I really enjoyed with the Prime, out of the Transformers Prime toys, because it just felt like they put a lot of love and a lot of attention into this line. And this guy right here is, he just manages to do so many things right. In fact, he manages to do some things that some of his bigger counterparts were not able to do. So as you can see here, he's just the long-nosed cab, just the same as we saw in the Transformers Prime cartoon, at least in the beginning of it, before Beast Hunters. And yeah, the truck is probably the weakest out of his two modes. His robot mode is really strong, and I think the truck mode may have suffered a little bit for it, but it's not too bad. That's still a pretty good truck mode. You know, you've got a couple of gaps here and there for transformation, but other than that, I think he looks all right. If a little misproportioned maybe, but not too bad, I don't think. Autobot symbol right here on the side of the door there. I think I would have preferred to seen it up here, but what are you going to do? And then, other than that, just pretty much a nicely detailed truck all the way around, except for, of course, these breakages here. But other than that, pretty nice. And then you can see the back here is all translucent, and we're going to get into that when we get into the robot mode. So, why don't we go ahead and get into the transformation. Transformation for this guy can be pretty simple, as with most of your Cyberverse figures. So I'm going to start here on the sides. These are going to be the arms, so I'm just going to go ahead and unclip those and just kind of get them out of the way, and just swing them all the way up like that, just to get them out of the way, just like so. I love this next part right here. So the whole front of the truck's going to come down, and the whole back of the truck's going to come down, and these guys are going to peg in. You're going to see there's a couple of tabs right here, and there's going to be a couple of slots right there. So these guys are going to just peg in together, and that's going to form your legs later on. Actually, I skipped a step. When you're coming down, go ahead and grab the top of the hood right here and just swing this guy down, because that's going to be the feet. And then go ahead and peg these two guys together. I think you could have done that either way. I don't know. So, right here, this is going to be the abdomen of the robot right in there. So this guy's on a ball joint right here. So you're going to want to bring this down and then go ahead and rotate your hips back down again. Separate your legs, and the bottom half of the robot is pretty much done. Let's adjust this camera and get the rest of the robot up here. So go ahead and turn them at the hinges here to straighten the arms out. I love this part right here. So the top of the truck right here, these are going to unclip and they're going to separate. And these are also on little ball joint and hinge arms. So a little hinge right there and a ball joint up there. So you bring these guys out and rotate them and bring them up and over his shoulders right there to create those shoulder pauldrons that he had. I'll bring that on both sides. And then finally come around the back, and his head is going to be tucked away right in there. So go ahead and just bring that up. And that's one issue, and I think it might be just with mine. I don't know if this was an issue all the way around. But with mine, this hinge that this whole headpiece is on is actually stronger than the joint that the head itself is clipped onto. So more often than not, when I'm trying to move the head around, I end up popping it off. But as you saw, no big deal. It's just a little mushroom peg right there. You just pop it in right back. So like I was saying, the head was tucked away in there. Just bring that all the way up and over, clip it into place, turn your head around, and there is Cyberverse Optimus Prime in his robot mode, and I think he looks fantastic. Oh, one more thing. Exhaust pipes. These guys are going to swing around the back here. So they're going to sit right on his back, just like they're supposed to. And again, there is Transformers Prime, Cyberverse Optimus Prime in his robot mode, and I think he looks fantastic. Here in robot mode, Optimus is approximately 4 inches tall. We're going to bring him in close so you can see the head sculpt on him. There you go. It's just like the head sculpt that you expect from Transformers Prime. They did a very good job at sculpting him, and he looks fantastic. You know, other than I guess really the kibble here on the arm would be my only point of contention with him. Other than that, I think they did a fantastic job with this figure, especially considering the size class for him. One of the big complaints with some of the bigger figures were that he wouldn't use the actual truck windows as his chest. This figure managed to accomplish that. Another issue with some of the bigger figures was all the panels and all the kibbles that would typically sit on his back, giving him a giant backpack. And as you can see, this guy took care of that. Not a lot of paneling, again, with the exception of the wheel and maybe the door, bottom of the door right there on his arm. With the exception of those pieces right there, not a lot of kibble hanging off of this guy. Relatively small backpack, a very good silhouette, and he manages to do a very good job of looking like Optimus Prime. At least, well, the Optimus Prime from that show, obviously. So, there you go. I really, really enjoy this guy. As far as articulation goes, as you saw, the head is on a mushroom peg, so you're going to get swivel there. You can rotate all the way around. The shoulders are on a universal joint here, so you can go in and out, and then you can also go forward, go around like this. Now, you got to watch the shoulder pauldron here, because that's going to kind of get in the way, but you can swivel that arm all the way around. It can go, it's actually in a ball joint inside of his chest there, so you can do that. The elbow also is on a ball joint, so up and down, you can rotate all the way around. You do have the peg that this abdomen was on is on a ball joint, so technically you can turn him at the chest right there, not really the waist, but a little bit above the waist. You couldn't turn him there, but it really does break up the figure. I don't think it's intended to do that. Ball joints again at the hip, so in and out, forward, backwards, all over the place. You got a hinge knee, so you got a good 90 right there, and you can even break. You have a soccer's player's break right there if you want to do that. I don't know why you would, but there you go. And do the transformation, a little bit of inward tilt with the foot. So there you go. Nice set of articulation, a good silhouette. I really enjoy this figure right here. So, and I really enjoyed the Cyberverse line as a whole for Transformers Prime. It was they were doing so many things. They were trying so many good new things, and they managed to accomplish a lot of them. As you probably noticed, most of his torso is actually translucent blue plastic. And the red detail is actually painted over that translucent blue. The reason for that is because they had this ongoing gimmick with all of the Cyberverse figures, that if you had some of the playsets or some of the larger vehicles, for example, I'm going to bring in Wheeljack's Skyhammer or Starhammer. I can't remember at the moment, but it's one of those two. So anyway, this was Wheeljack's vehicle right here. And these guys had these light-up gimmicks. You can see there's a lot of translucent plastic on this guy as well. There's a little button back here with a little weapon, and when I press on that, you can see that the weapon extends. So what these guys did, a lot of these were that you could actually remove this weapon, and it was on a cable, so you can actually bring it out of the vehicle, and you could give it to your Cyberverse figures. So you could give this weapon to Optimus Prime here, for example, just make it a handheld weapon. And then when you press down the button, the weapon would light up. And we're not seeing it too well. Let me do this right here. Let me see if this helps a little bit. Okay, so when we press on the button here, you see that that's going to light up. So there you go. And then also what you could do is, if you look on the back of the figure, you're going to see that there's a couple of peg holes right there on his back, and another one right here. There's a little peg right there on the small of his back. So this weapon is designed to actually plug into any one of these guys. So we'll move this exhaust and plug it in first, in there first. And then you can press again the button, and it's still not coming through due to the lighting. I got too much light going on in here. But what it does, let's try this one. This one might work a little better. Actually, that does work a little better. So you can see right in there, you can see his chest lighting up. And the whole idea was that when you play with these guys, you can do like this little power-up thing. When you press on the button and the weapon lights up, like their whole inside of their chest would light up. And they actually do. They do have pretty good light piping. Like I said, I have lights here set up to show off these figures. So it does kind of kill the effect a little bit. So there's a Starhammer or the Skyhammer. One or the other. I'm sure somebody's going to go down in the comments. By all means, go down to the comments and let me know. Correct me on that. But yeah, there it is. Cool little figure. And then there's another thing that this guy can do that we're going to be looking at later. There was like this armored suit for him that I'm really wanting to review. And but before I get to that one, I needed to get to this guy. So there it is. I think that is about going to do it for Transformers Prime Cyberverse Optimus Prime. What did you think of this figure, and what would you like to see me review next? Let me know by leaving me a comment, give me some thumbs up, subscribe and share with your friends if you like what you see, and I'll talk to you next time on That's Just Prime.